Whether you love them or hate them, you have to admit that Tabis are pretty iconic. So before you buy a pair or leave a comment about how ugly they are, here is what you need to know about the Tabi shoes. If you're from the Western world, you most likely associate the Tabis with Martin Margiela, the Belgian designer, but he was far from the inventor of Tabis. A lot of people think the Tabis are inspired by animal hooves. They actually have nothing to do with animals. They're a shoe that dates as far back as 15th century Japan. The Tabi, as it's pronounced in Japanese, was a type of durable sock that was worn with thong sandals. Were either worn with a gaita sandal, which was a platform off the ground to protect you from rainwater or farmlands, or with the zeta sandal, which was a more practical, everyday kind of sandal. This was also the sandal that was worn by a lot of samurais in the Edo period, and they were thought to provide balance and harmony. Over the years, the Tabi socks developed into Tabi boots. They were worn by a lot of industrial workers. And in the 1980s, when Margiela was starting his career, he discovers these shoes on a trip to Japan. He was the kind of designer that really enjoyed to deconstruct and reconstruct, so he was wondering how he could evolve this into something new. Of course, this raises questions of cultural appropriation versus cultural exchange. You guys can leave your thoughts about that in the comments. Nevertheless, Margiela debuts the leather Tabi boots at his 1989 fashion show. Mainstream fashion didn't quite know what to make of these hoovy boots, but they quickly became iconic to Margiela and a staple of the avant-garde fashion industry. Now, with the rise of the internet and the rise of influencers, Tabis have gone from avant-garde to, I would say, maybe even mainstream. Shein recently released their own version of them, as well as brands like Nike, who do their sportswear interpretation, and of course the Margiela Tabis themselves, which are just exploding in popularity. However, if the Margiela price tag is a bit too much for you, you can still buy Tabis in Japan from traditional stores. These are from Tabi's Online Japan, or there are more contemporary brands like Suikoke, which really reinterprets the Tabi in interesting ways. Finally, I have a pair of Tabis myself, and I'm going to answer the question that I get asked the most, and that is, are they comfortable? The answer is yes, absolutely. They are very comfortable. They provide great balance on the foot, and I would expect nothing less given their Japanese heritage. Okay, now you know the history of the Tabis. What do you think of them? Leave it in the comments. Would you buy them? Would you pay the price for them? What are your feelings?